Mr. Petzer shows maps of South Africa, what it looks like with dry areas and how most of it is the Kalahari, trying to prove that blacks could not live there, which is misleading because it does not account for the size of the kingdoms, and that this theory that the black tribes had no methods of digging wells, boreholes, and water channels is false. Furthermore, the black people were the people group acclimatized to living in those areas, most of which had lived in those areas for centuries already. Not to mention, what did those areas look like 300 years ago? Did they look exactly as dry as they do in the current images, or was the landscape different 300 years ago?
To the north of the Cape Colony, when you pass that mountain range there is absolutely nothing. You can even zoom in here and you'll see from the air it's miles and miles and miles of absolutely nothing. There's nothing here. Nobody can survive here. Nobody can survive on 60% of this country without having a borehole technology, without the wind pump that was brought here by the Europeans.
Willem Petzer says the black groupings could not survive without windmills, the wind pump. And I agree with my countryman Willem when he says, indeed, the wind pump is an iconic South African site. Then revisionist ideology takes over and twists the truth. Because yes, the black group may not have had the wind pump. However, cabinet notes from the meetings on the 1913 Land Act has many white men mentioning how the blacks do live down there in those areas in their hundreds and in their thousands, using what the white witnesses in those cabinet meetings often call native irrigation systems that use the wells that they dig with canals and terraces, and of course with manual labor. And they further discuss in these meetings how the white man will have an advantage on that land and could produce more out of the land because of his technologically advanced irrigation systems by comparison. So Petzer uses a fact to exclude the reality that black people were living down there, and for centuries at that, and it was their land. They weren't getting as much out of that land because of the ancient irrigation canal system they were using. That is why the white men in the meeting state that they could yield more out of the land with their technology, which of course leads to them deciding, hence, let's just take that land and kick those black people out, disproving Petzer's attempt at reframing what happened. He could just stick to the truth. If I had to give him a moment of Christian charity, I would say perhaps he's into this apartheid revisionism because he's tired, perhaps, of his people being framed as the bad guys in the historical story of South Africa, while lying and using the same lies the fascist apartheid regime used is not going to help that. Actually telling the truth and facing it for what it is better and is Christian. And by lying and revising apartheid, you actually make those pushing the national democratic revolution, you make them happy. Because these sort of arguments are what motivates them and what they use to sell to people, black people, who want justification for their hate of white people also. Because then they say, well, these people are lying about history and hanging on to apartheid, and they want this thing, and they want to bring it back, and they believe in it, and they see nothing wrong with it. Just like those who buy Willem Petzer's lies are seeking justification to hate black people and say, well, look at what they've done to the country, and they probably deserved apartheid. That's basically what is being said here. Both groups, the tripartite white-hating people and the Willem Petzer apartheid revision black-hating types, both groups help in pushing the national democratic revolution. They help it to win because the national democratic revolution needs the division and the separation of the countrymen, of the people groups in South Africa. Well done, Willem. You're a very good socialist in this regard. Some would say a good national socialist, which is exactly what apartheid was, not Christian. Thank you for listening. If you dare, buy us a coffee. The link is in the description.
Why are you running? Why are you running?